Jeez. My picture's not on. Share the screen.
Hi, everyone. How are we today? Welcome to our Mindful March event. We're so happy to have you all here today. I'm Amelia, if you guys don't know me, and I've had the pleasure of meeting so many of you as I help manage our Facebook community. And before we get started, I just have a few super quick housekeeping items for all of you. So I want to give a big, special, warm welcome to our Mighty Health members. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's so great to see you all here. And for those of you who aren't members just yet, we want to extend a very warm welcome as well. If you aren't familiar, Mighty Health is the first fitness, nutrition, and wellness app designed for adults over 50. We can help you reach your health goals, whether it's losing weight or becoming more mobile. And you can learn more at mightyhealth.com, where we're currently running a 50% off promotion of a Mighty Health membership. You can gift one to yourself or a loved one, and we're just dropping right now the link in the chat. James is doing that for you all. So next, if anyone is new to Zoom, I just want to quickly explain it to you. The mute button is at the bottom left, or if you're on your phone, just in the bottom. If everyone could mute themselves once they enter and while we're doing the class, that would be great. And then during the Q&A session, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself to ask your question, or you can simply just write it in the chat, which is in the bottom control bar, and I can bring it up for you. So during this session, you can keep your video on or off, whatever you're comfortable with, we're totally fine with. And in order to see our teacher, you can focus on the speaker view, or if you want to see everybody, you can switch to the gallery view, and that option's in the top right. So now I would like to welcome our host, Laura. Laura is a somatic counselor, dance movement therapist, yoga teacher, and the founder of Embodied Awakening in Los Angeles. She has a master's degree in somatic counseling psychology and is passionate about sharing somatic tools designed to reorganize the nervous system, and she loves to give back by teaching trauma-informed yoga to veterans experiencing PTSD. She's so excited to take you all through this beginner mindfulness meditation today. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Laura.
Yay, thank you, Amelia. I have y'all on gallery view, so I can, now that I'm speaker though, I can't. So I'm gonna scroll through a little bit and just say hi and see your faces. And as Amelia said, it's totally optional to have your camera on or off. This is not for me, this is for you. And thanks for that introduction. So a little bit more about myself. I went to a Buddhist college, and every class we did, we left our shoes at the door, we sat in a circle, and we meditated before we did any of our learning. And that was one of the reasons why I was attracted to this school. I've been a yogi since 2005 and have been immersed in mindfulness practices ever since. And it's a relationship, just like any other relationship in your life, right? In times in my life, I'm really intimately connected to my meditation, and other times in my life, it feels like a distant memory and something that I don't even have a relationship to at all anymore, and anywhere in between. So I'm telling you that because there was a time in my life when I learned meditation, I was like, I'm going to get these benefits. I'm going to do this every day and it's going to be so great, right? And let this be a practice that's nourishing to you. So as you start, and we'll get into more of the technique of it, it might start with when you're washing your dishes and you're just taking them conscious shift from your mind down into your body, feeling the water, right? Maybe you start on a walk and you walk around your neighborhood and you get out of your mind and you look at nature and you're in your body, right? You can be mindful at any point in time in your day. So for today's meditation, I will be guiding you through a seated meditation. And I'm sitting here on my floor. I've got a little, I'm scooching back here so you can see it. I've got a little blanket that I'm sitting on and I've folded it up so it's not too thick, right? I've got a Mexican blanket and I folded it in half. So it's got just a little oomph for me. Now, as you know, I've been doing yoga for a while, so my hips are a little more open. So I can drop my hips down from this space. If this is painful, if this is uncomfortable, if this is going to make you really distracted by the pain, sit in a chair. Don't even have to think about it. Sit in a chair, ankles uncrossed, wrists uncrossed, hands on thighs. If you prefer to stand up, we will be here for a while, for about a 20-minute meditation, a little bit longer, but we'll be sitting here, we'll be together until 12 o'clock. So please take care of yourself. Maybe that's alternating between sitting and standing and walking, or just take care of your body. And maybe you've read about meditation, maybe you've tried meditation. There are so many different kinds. It's like food. You know, so you really get this beautiful empowerment to choose what you put on your plate, choose what kind of meditation you're going to practice. There's mindfulness meditation, which we'll be experiencing today. There's loving kindness meditation, where you can bring in an affirmation, right? On a day where you don't have any energy and you need energy, the affirmation can be, I am energized. I am energized. And you practice bringing in that energy. Or a day where you don't have any energy, but you know that maybe there's not a whole lot of energy to gain. I have compassion for myself today, right? And you can find the right word that feels like it lands in your body with truth. Your body knows when you're lying to it. So you can imagine talking to your body the way that you talk to a young child, right? They always know when you're not telling the truth and they're going to call you out on it. So think about that when you're talking to your body, and you can play around with these words. There's metta meditations, and that's like the overall mind, like metta of your entire life, sankalpa of your entire life. Sankalpa is the biggest intention you can set. So if you were to document your entire life of affirmations, if there was one theme to thread through all the affirmations, that would be your sankalpa. And it comes from yogic tradition. Let's see, body scans, right? Scanning from your head down to your feet. You can do this in the shower. You can do this while you're sitting in traffic for a moment, right? And that's a meditation. You're getting the same benefits. What's interesting about the research on meditation is that a lot of research takes 8 weeks, takes a little snapshot of 8 weeks of meditation. And the benefits, I'm going to pull my notes here a little closer. The benefits that come from just 8 weeks of meditation is really profound. When we talk about the hindbrain, the very stem of your brain, that's your instincts, right? That's the place where you feel your body. That's the place where you move your body from, where you're breathing from. So it makes sense that a lot of the benefits go all the way down to your base brain. And the amygdala is like your body's fire alarm. Danger, right? Something's not right. We've all felt it. Have you been in a space where you knew intellectually that you were safe, but your heart rate was up or your throat was a little tight and you're like, what's going on? I'm not feeling so great, right? That's your amygdala going, I got you. Something's not right and I've detected it. And so meditation can really help to calm down that fire alarm, and it actually brings more density to the hippocampus, which is where your memories and emotions are, right? So over time, you might actually start to see your memories colored in a little differently, which is so interesting. It can sharpen your attention. We know that, right? We're focusing in meditation. We're coming out of the mind into the body. It's resilience to stress. And for so many of us, that's the biggest health concern, right? Stress making us unable to sleep, low energy, unable to focus, all of these things, heart issues. And it can increase compassion for where you are in your life, how your body's showing up. And it can impact your physical health. There's a lot of stories of people actually losing weight from meditating because it's de-stressing. It's helping you drop into what is. So let's talk about these steps of meditation. There's 4 steps in this more Buddhist yogic lineage that I've studied. And step 1 is posture. So as I said earlier, sitting in the chair, you uncross the ankles, you uncross the wrists. Sitting on the ground, I'm crisscross applesauce sitting on a blanket. If you want to sit back on your heels and bring a blanket or a block underneath your heels, that's fine. What you're focusing on is the posture that allows you to have a tall spine, right? When you fix things in your space, you're straightening them out, right? And it's the same with our body. So whatever helps you have a tall spine. And check in with that for yourself right here, right now. Experience it with me. Find your 2 sit bones at the base of your spine, and you kind of rock side to side to find it's almost like a little electrical outlet of the plugs. Yeah, and just feel where those 2 plugs are. And for me, I've got my plugs on my blanket, so I'm able to plug down with the 2 sit bones and really feel that anchor of the hips down into the chair or down into the floor or down into the pillow, blanket, whatever you're sitting on. And really send your mind down to those 2 bones and feel them plug down evenly as much as you can. It's not about being perfect or about tending to your body. And check in with your side bodies. Lengthen your side bodies so your hips stay heavy as they stay plugged down into the earth, but your rib cage lifts up away from your hips so you feel your side bodies gently lengthen. Feel your low back gently lengthen. Then the belly will probably want to protrude out. It's what the belly does. There's no bones there. So you have to use the muscles to brace the low belly as we hug it in and up. And then notice how, and I always bring my hands here because it's really hard for me to feel my body unless I bring my hands onto my body and really feel what's happening. So I draw my low belly in and up. Then feel your ribs and feel how the ribs want to splay open. Imagine a corset or a weight belt kind of cinching in the front ribs. It's very subtle. And you feel this energetic lock. Then check out your shoulders. Are they hiked up towards your ears? Can you drop them down away from your ears? And as the shoulder blades drop down away from your ears, see if you can gently pluck them together, squeeze them together. So the action of the shoulder blades is actually drawing together and then down the spine. You'll feel the heart puff up and the ribs might splay out a little bit. Once again, just invite them back in. And keeping this structure, right? You might notice the outer shoulders bracing or tensing or gripping. See if you can soften the muscles around the upper shoulders, around the tops of the arms. So the spine doesn't collapse, but you're not bracing yourself. And as we move into the head and jaw, the alignment becomes a little more nuanced. So feel if your teeth are touching. And for me, it was a huge light bulb when I learned that our teeth should only really be touching when we're chewing food. At any other time, it's actually stress, it's clenching. And for most of us, we have chronic stress in the jaw. And it's not something to be like, oh my goodness, have compassion for it. But in this practice, can you create space between the back 4 molars? And maybe even all of your teeth. And feel the alignment of your tongue. And gently nuzzle your tongue to the palate at the roof of your mouth. So the teeth stay parted. but the tongue finds a little resting space. If your body really wants to push against something, the tip of the tongue can gently press behind the front two teeth, right where the front two teeth meet the palate at the top of your mouth. It's a little more detailed. And check in with your face and experiment with allowing all of the muscles of your face to completely drain. No need to express emotion. No need to connect to people on the screen. And softening your gaze either down to the floor at one place, or if it feels all right, you'll close your eyes. We're not coming into it quite yet, but just experience this tall spine. And if you could think about yogis or these more ancient tales of meditators, right? They're off in the Himalayas. They do not have the to-do list that we have. And that to-do list is your ego. And the practice of meditation is to soften the ego. The ego is the part of you that creates things out in the world, right? It comes from your hands, it comes from your face, it comes from your genitalia. And these are the regions that will want to react, will want to respond to your environment. And this can be very realistic. Somebody walks into your room. Oh, hey, your kid comes out of their bedroom. Oh, what's up? Your partner comes into the room while you're meditating. Hey, right? We want to avoid that. So it's the conscious commitment to being still. And that stillness is a really important component. And as you're getting to know meditation, it might just be 5 minutes, right? Over time, 20 minutes is a really good marker to shoot for. All of these meditation studies, 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes. And thinking about connecting down into yourself, you think about the layers of your body, right? We've got the shallow layers of the outer body all the way to that very middle point. You could think of those Russian dolls that have layer after layer after layer after layer, right? We're sending the mind into those koshas, into those layers of the body all the way down to the center. So we've got step one, posture, right? Find your posture once again. Notice if the shoulders have shrunk forwards. Notice what's wanting to be distracted. And step two, committing to stillness. Step three, breath. So you'll notice if the body feels rigid or bracing or gripping or grasping, that the breath also might be holding. And for all of us, the breath sometimes holds at the top or the bottom, can be either. Well, as you sit here tall, can you let the breath flow? If you know a breath technique that you'd like to bring into the practice, you can. But for today, it's just gentle, conscious breath. In and out through the nose. If you need a little exhale out the mouth, that's also fine. Now I've got my hands on my thighs. If you would like to commit to a little more stillness, you can find Gyan Mudra, thumb to index finger, and extend your elbows out straight. It's just for the extra credit. Take a breath in through your nose. Out your mouth, big, long exhale, really push the air out. Find your gaze, whether that's down to the floor or closing your eyes. And begin to drop in. You might notice right here very clearly what your mind is thinking. Are they random thoughts kind of popcorning around the mind, or is it a narrative? Maybe it's imagery that you can see. And moving out of the mind, moving from that analytic, wisdom, learning mind down into your body where it's perceptive, sensory, the felt sense of what it feels like to be you right now, physically. You could imagine an elevator, beginning to take the elevator ride down from your mind, through your throat, taking up residency into every square inch of your physical body. And as you send your awareness through the body, come back to your posture. Root down through the two sit bones. Feel that outlet, that prong as it plugs down. Feel the length through the midline this time, through the pelvic floor, through the center of your abdomen, through the organs, right through the center. Finding your way through the center of your chest cavity, through the center of your throat, piercing through the palate at the roof of your mouth, extending up to the crown of your head. Allow your awareness to pause at the crown of your head, and allow the crown of your head to energetically soften. And as you feel the crown of your head soften, feel the shoulders soften as your heart lifts. Notice your breath. Let the breath be fluid. And the beautiful thing about your mind is that it was created to think. And for most of us, the mind has been conditioned to be very strong. So when your awareness wanders back to that narrative, back to those random thoughts, maybe to something of interest, maybe to a memory, visualize yourself tossing that thought out of your mind. It's like you toss paper into a trash can. Everything that you like in your life right here, right now, that you're attached to, toss it out of your mind. Everything that you dislike about life, turmoils, trials, tribulations, toss them out of your mind. Memories of things that have happened in your life, toss them out of your mind. Anticipation of what's yet to come in your life, toss those thoughts out of your mind. And kindly usher your awareness to once again take full residency of your physical body, from the root of what's touching the floor or the chair or the base. Feeling that strength and length in your spine, fluidity in your breath. And when the mind wanders, because it will, gently bring your awareness back to your body, absorbing this felt sense of you. just as you are. Notice any urge to move, any urge to fidget, recommit to stillness. And it's a loving stillness. And this higher consciousness perspective that life is an illusion. And by you not responding, not reacting to the illusion around you, allows you to strengthen the connection to you internally. We'll stay here together in stillness, in meditation, for about 10 minutes. Notice if your mind reacted to that. Just notice it, the way you're noticing this experience, the inextricable truth of your inner world that includes your mind. And just as you witness clouds on your back, looking at the sky, witness your body, that same sense of curiosity and wonderment. Or maybe for us Californians, it's the way that you watch the surf, the way you watch the ocean, not negotiating with what you see, but witnessing it. And as you turn this awareness inwards to you, you get to witness your physical self, not reacting to any areas of pain or scratch, not reacting to any impulses or urges to move the body. Witnessing any emotional qualities that might come forth, unearthing through the gut or the heart or the mind. And directing the mind into the breath, into the body. Committing to posture, committing to stillness, committing to breath, and being aware of the mind space. And without being critical, just notice right here how your awareness is settling in. You could imagine putting mud and water in a jar and shaking it up and letting the jar sit on the countertop and watching it settle. That's what you're doing right here, right now. You're watching the mud settle, allowing the mind to tire out as you anchor it into the body over and over again. letting the mud settle, dropping in, sinking down. Notice the base of your body and allow yourself to anchor down once again. Almost as if the weight of sand was coming into your legs and hips, anchoring you down. Notice if your posture has shifted. Come back to that tall spine. If you're with me with the arms, extend through the elbows just a little bit more. Helping the ego learn that you are not your physical body. You are not your mental body. We know this because you can witness it. You can witness your physical body. And you can witness your mental body. You are that observational force that can see it all. Connect to that part of you. Where is the witness observing from? No right answer. Just notice. And allow your awareness to continue to penetrate into that space where you're observing from. Going in layer by layer. The world around you moves. You stay still. The world within you moves. And you stay still. And feel how the breath is flowing. Notice your eyes. Feel how the eyes typically look outwards. And practice the opposite. Allow the eyes to absorb in. Allowing your awareness to go in to the deepest layer of you, right here. And drop your awareness into your breath. Begin to exaggerate the breath a little bit more so the inhale comes in a little deeper. And out the mouth with the exhale as long as you can. Push the stale air out of the base of your lungs. And gently move your tongue around your mouth. Notice any taste in your mouth. Begin to rub your fingers against your palms and just notice the felt sense of your hands or your thighs. Notice any smells in the air. Notice the sound of my voice, the sound of the music. And if you had the eyes closed, gently open them towards the floor first. And let the light come in gently. You're taking care of your nervous system. You're taking care of your sensory system by letting it be very gentle. And as you allow the light to come in, before you look right to the screen, allow yourself to look around your space. And just notice what the colors look like in your space right now. Looking for things that look beautiful to your eye and really taking them in. And look around to 2 other things in your space, taking your time, moving your chin and your eyes to find them. And then pause when you find them and study it. And taking your time to do one more thing and move your chin to find that 3rd thing. Look at the texture and notice if the colors look a little different. You know, oftentimes we come into our inner world and it's that same thought pattern that we've been experiencing for X amount of time. And we come into the body of the emotions, the same emotion. And you come out of the meditation, you look around, you're like, oh, something did shift. I do feel a little different. I am seeing the world a little different. If that felt challenging, if you feel like you need to fidget right now, like allow yourself to fidget. If you feel at peace, feel that peacefulness. If you feel distracted, feel that distractedness, whatever is happening for you right now. But from one human to another living in this modern day age, congratulations. Stillness is challenging. And you did it. You're welcome to unmute yourself, or Amelia's typed into the chat box for any questions. This is when it gets really interesting, because all of this stuff is cool as it exists, but how do we integrate into our lives? How do we apply it to ourselves? That's the real juice. So if that's a question, let me know. If there's something else, I'm all open.
Yeah, you can type them in the chat too. I put a little note in there.
Thanks, Amelia. Nice job, everybody. And notice your mind, right? If there's more thoughts or less thoughts, notice that. Thanks, James. So that's a great question, and it's different for everybody. As I mentioned earlier, 5 minutes a day can be a really nice start. If you are somebody who is, if you felt tired during this meditation this morning, notice that. Because one of the hardest things for new to meditation practitioners is that we fall asleep. The nervous system calms down, the mind calms down, it's nap time, right? So if that's true for you, if you're having that experience, know that that's completely normal. You might meditate in the morning. First thing when you wake up, before you even brush your teeth, throw your feet off the edge of the bed, sit on the bed, hands on thighs, 5 minutes on the timer, let the mud settle, let the anticipation of the day settle, and then go on with your day. Otherwise, at night is another nice time for people to practice, or at the end of the workday. My foot went to sleep. Yes. All of these different things in the body happen, right? Sometimes if you're working with an injury or you've got a pain pocket in the body, that place can be amplified. And that's part of why we stay still, because we want to help the ego recognize that it's not your foot. And if the foot falls asleep, over time it gets better, I promise. But just take care of it. Roll out the ankle, get the flow of blood going back to it. So how do I get more comfortable sitting with it, my legs on the floor? It's comfortable for me because my hips are really open. So hip openers, those kind of stretches, those are going to make you more comfortable in crisscross applesauce. But we don't want to force the body in meditation. We want to meet it where it is. So if it's uncomfortable for you to sit with the hips open, sit in the chair, or this is the other position that I said verbally, but I didn't show you. So you can sit back on your heels and you can sit down on a couple pillows or blankets, right? So you got the side view. So I'm sitting with it in between my feet. But just take care of yourself. If your legs tend to fall asleep, what's the position that works for you? Meditations will be added, absolutely. I noticed my shoulder that I injured started to shake towards the end of the meditation. Yes. Shaking is totally something the body does to release trauma, to release tension from the sympathetic nervous system. So high shoulder, give it some love today, give it a little self-massage and really listen to it. It's totally normal. The body will do interesting things when we're saying, I'm not going to respond to you, because how many times in your life have you been like, hey, shoulder, are you okay? Hey, shoulder, are you okay? And in this practice, we kerplunk into the body, and we're not caretaking. We're recognizing that the body is wise and it knows how to take care of itself in these moments of stillness, and we allow the mind to detach from that. The 4 steps again, absolutely. So posture, step 1, sitting up tall. I meditated with you, so my brain's very slow. Conscious breathing, right? We want the breath to flow. Taking care of the mental space, throwing the thoughts out of the mind, and stillness. So let me say it in chronological order. Posture first, setting yourself up, committing to stillness, letting the breath still flow, checking in with the nervous system, tossing the mind. Anything that percolates in the mind, toss it out, and then taking that elevator ride down, right? That's all the taking care of the mental space. I bought a book that's been helping me, 5-minute daily meditations. Oh, cool. Thanks, Jill. Awesome. All right. So meditation doesn't have to be daily. It doesn't have to be daily. You could start with a couple times a week and move up to 3 times a week. And for some people, it won't ever be an everyday practice. Like being very realistic with your attraction to what you want to gain from the practice, right? The motivation to show up. Check in with that. And thanks, James. Yeah. For our modern day psyches, I think one of the biggest lessons is compassion. We've got computer eyes, we've got television eyes, and then we're asking these eyes to do the opposite, to go back, to not absorb the outer. And the same with the body. Our body's going, hey, I've got to go to the bathroom. Hey, I'm hungry. Hey, I want to go talk to this person. And we're saying, be still. And so 5 minutes is a really great way to just start. And maybe you take a lunch break once a week. You know, before you eat, you take 5 minutes of just sitting with your body and experiencing what it feels like. Maybe over time it builds. Maybe that 5 minutes is sufficient, and you're really feeling the benefits of that sacred pause. Do we have the 4 steps? I see. Yeah. Posture. Now I'm a little more sharp and awake. Posture, committing to stillness, letting the breath flow, and attending to the mental space. And that attending to the mental space, if it's really difficult for the mind that day, there's a lot going on, give yourself a conscious breath. You can breathe in for 4 to 8 counts. You can breathe out for 4 to 8 counts. And sometimes that counting, thank you, Amelia, can really help you to go into those deeper layers, right? And it's not a part of this tradition, but as I mentioned earlier, there's so many different kinds of meditation. So you could have an affirmation, loving kindness meditation, right? And instead of having that stillness for 5 minutes before you have your lunch break, or when you wake up, or before you go to bed, or whenever you make the time for it, it's stillness of maybe even a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly of like, I'm making it through. I believe in myself, right? Whatever it is. And again, it can't be these kind of like more trite, it has to be felt by your heart. It has to be true to you. If it's not received by your heart, or if you were to say it to a young kid and they're like, what are you talking about? That's good information, right? We want it to be meaningful. And breath practice is a way to control the mind. You know, it's different than loving kindness meditation. It's pranayama in yoga practice. But then in Shambhala, in a lineage of Buddhism, they don't have the hands on the thighs. They'll have hands in the lap. So left hand comes down like you're holding a little cup. Then the right hand comes on top of the left, and you connect the 2 thumbs. So this one's a little more gentle, and you can feel like you're anchoring in. The left hand is always the receiving hand, and the right hand is the giving hand. So you're receiving the do. You're dropping into just be, right? And you connect the 2 thumbs to connect the full cycle of the body. The one that we did out here, elbows are really straight. And even in my meditation this morning with you guys, I was softening the elbows. And when you respond to the body, when the elbows get tired or the foot falls asleep, the ego is being fed the fact that it is the body. And for most of us, that's how we identify. We are our bodies. But in this more metaphysical practice, or this more spiritual lens, the world around you is just an illusion. It's just your classroom to experiment with being human, right? And how you show up. And it's really just a reflection of your internal landscape. So if your internal world is very critical and very rigid and very closed off, this world is going to look like that to you as well. And this is where the compassion comes in. Compassion comes in, right? And with breath, you can learn to be a little more fluid. You can be compassionate for when you want to contract in and when you need to be quiet and be with yourself, and understanding for those times where you want to spoke out and you want to expand out and you've got all these ideas, you want to connect to people, because both are us, right? The inhale and the exhale will always happen in life. And what meditation really just provides is this loving awareness to these strong emotional states, or these states of being bored, or these states of being confused, or the mind going on to a memory, or whatever it is. You get to absorb it and just sit with it and watch it settle and not attach to it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, come on.
No, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Laura. Does anyone have any last minute questions before we wrap up? We're just gonna oh, thanks. Oh, we got lots of praise there. That's great.
There's so many books on meditation. There's so many instructors. There's so many things on YouTube. I'm sure Amelia will get some good stuff up here for y'all to keep practicing. And it sounds like this is going to be a video for you to continue to check in with, right? And meditation is a lived experience, as I was just saying. So keep with it and let it be messy. Let it be messy. Let it be something that you evolve over time.
I love that. That's great. That's great. Well,
Jill's
thank you
got something to
so
say
much.
here.
Jill just had a nice note for everybody. Thank you, Jill.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate your time, Laura. I think this was a great practice and intro for everyone. If anyone has any feedback or anything about the event, you can definitely let your coach know, and the recording will be available for you all on our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for coming. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you, Laura. This was amazing.
Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you for trying something new if you're new to it. And stay with it. Stay with it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.